back. We are doing a video today on the pros and cons of Melton. Okay, we're gonna start out with pros. Number one is mileage. Mileage here at Melton, the average trip is anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500. Our highest run was 2,700 miles. Our lowest was in the high 400s, but that was only to get us home. So you're definitely gonna be looking at about 1,500 miles as far as, you know, the average trip. It's not like drive-in where it's 100, 200, 300 miles, you know, loaded, and then you gotta live load, live unload, and just sit there. So that's definitely one of the reasons why Melton is number one to us. The next one is pay. The pay scale is 43 cents, which is the lowest, to 56 cents, which is the highest. And you can talk to your recruiter and ask them, you know, based on your experience, they'll let you know how much you're going to get paid. We are not allowed to discuss personal pay. It's in the contract for Melton, so that's the only reason why we're not. We wouldn't mind telling you guys, but we're not allowed to. So that's why we haven't said it. That's why we're not going to say it in this video. But the pay scale is 43 to 56 cents. Also, go ahead.
I just want to jump back to the mileage thing. We go to, I know I've said it before, but we go to a lot of job sites and stuff like that. So we typically on like a Friday, you load up on a Friday. That load will more than likely be something that's more than 1,000, 1,500, even up to 2,500 miles, because that run is going to get you through the weekend, and more than likely you're going to deliver on Monday. And flatbedding works during business hours. I would say maybe 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because we go to a lot of job sites and stuff like that. So if the crew's not there, you know, we can't do anything.
Yeah. But there are times where you're gonna have to pick up a little bit later or deliver a little bit earlier than that.
Right, and
keep that in mind.
And that those cases are rare, but when it does happen, it all works out. You'll be back on the regular schedule.
Yeah, you know, like we are. We just had an 11 p.m. pickup time, and we ran a little bit shut down, and we're already back to a regular schedule.
Right. Okay.
Also with pay, Melton does MAC credentials, which is extra pay on top of your cents per mile for hazmat, TWIC, and your passport to go into Canada. We don't go into Mexico. It would be into Canada. I believe each one, if for example, if you were to get a load that picks up in a port somewhere, you would get an extra 6 cents per mile. Same thing with hazmat, and same thing with a Canada load. If you were to go into Canada, you would get an extra 6 cents per mile on top of your pay that you get per mile.
And that goes for new hires too. Even if you're at the lowest end of that pay scale, you get an extra 6 cents.
Yeah. Also for pay reimbursements, Melton is the only company we've been with that reimburses for almost everything. They reimburse for reserved parking. So if you get to a truck stop and there's no parking and you got to sit there and pay for one, make sure you keep that receipt because they will reimburse for it. And they also reimburse for showers.
Up to $12.
12, where's 11?
12.
Up to $12. So those, anything for the truck as well. If you have to buy coolant, if you have to buy oil, if you have to buy tools, you know, to fix the truck, they will reimburse for that. The next thing is
also with reimbursements, just throwing it out there, dunnage. For those that don't know what dunnage is, it's just lumber that you use to pick up loads, coils, or anything like that. If you got to run to a Home Depot and buy it, keep the receipt and turn it in. They'll pay for that.
Yeah. So anything that has to do with the truck or a trailer. Also, the TransFlow app is another one. The only company we've been with that you can actually send messages and receive messages is JB Hunt. Melton is the same way. You you can reply. You can, if you're in the truck stop in the shower or something and you get a load, you could go ahead and reply to it, and by the time they get that load assignment to you, you're ready to go. And if you need to say anything, send a message, like a free form message, you can do that as well. Also,
sorry, just jumping in. The TransFlow app, there's also, you can check your paychecks, your driver settlements. You can check all that on your TransFlow app. Also, we do a monthly training exercises, just videos and little short quizzes on securement, stuff like that. All of that's done on your TransFlow app, so you don't have to go into a terminal and sit down at the computer with safety and, you know, do all, basically be held up. You do all that on your own time from your phone.
Yeah. The next thing is the Laredo shop. We've only had to go to the shop one time, and it was for the tri-pack. It wasn't blowing cold. It wasn't. There was no AC, and the trucks don't stay on. So when we got in there, there were 30-some people on the board waiting to get into the shop. You don't have a load. We didn't have a load, but we did have an AC issue, and the shop manager said that he's going to go ahead and get us in there because we didn't have AC. We had no problems after that. The guys got us in there, got us out, and we were ready to go the next day.
Also, the shop manager down there, he came and got us personally and told us he was moving us up the list because he knows how it is to not have AC, and he wants us to have AC.
Especially in Laredo, it definitely gets hot all times of the year.
A lot of people see that as small, but he didn't have to come get us personally to come tell us that he was going to get the truck worked on. And not only that, the truck was in the shop. They fixed a few other little things wrong with it while it was in there. So that way, when I came out, I was good to go.
Yeah, they got it done. We weren't even out in the truck for 4 hours, and they got everything done.
Yep.
Also, another pro about Melton is the equipment. They don't slack as far as equipment goes. The chains, binders, straps, the truck, the trailers, their equipment is top notch. You might not necessarily be in a brand new truck, but the truck you're gonna get is a nice truck. It comes with the curtains that pull to go all the way around the windows. It's not just the bunk curtains. So that's a big one for us. Like we have to have those curtains, and the trailers are decked out. They have, you know,
double welds.
Yeah, they have more than you need, basically. So
basically here at Melton, if you can't secure a load or you can't tarp a load with the equipment we have, you probably don't need to be flatbed because you have more than enough tools to do what you need to do here.
Yeah. The last thing for pros for Melton for this list is home time. We have never had an issue getting home. We've always been home on time. If we're not home on time, we're home early. So that's definitely something that we appreciate from that Melton does. They get us in there. I don't know if it's just where we live, because we lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, and now we live in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. They've never had an issue getting us home, even though they don't have a lot of freight coming through there. As far as we know, they don't. But they'll head us home from another place in North Carolina, and we always get home on time. Always. We've never been home late ever.
Another pro, just to add on to the home time, twice a year we have a guaranteed home time request.
Yeah.
So if you got something that you need to be home for and you need it to go exactly right, you can do that once every 6 months. So that's twice a year. You send that in, and they will go through hell and high water to get you home.
Yeah.
And you can do that twice. And you send it in like a regular home time request, and you can do that twice. So that's another pro.
Yeah.
Companies like I worked for Warner, we didn't have anything like that. If they got you home, they got you home. If they didn't, they didn't.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely something that we love about Melton. Alright, so the cons, we had a hard time coming up with this list, but we did want to throw in some cons, you know, just a few things to keep in mind.
And this is all for the sake of total honesty, because I know a lot of guys, they're just recruiting. There's never any cons or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But we understand that there is cons with company, even though we believe Melton's great. So we kind of had to nitpick a little bit, but there is some cons, and this is just for the sake of total honesty.
Yeah. And it's all based on personal experiences, so you might come in and not have to deal with any of this.
Right.
The very first thing is the attitudes that some of the staff portray. Sometimes they will have an unprovoked attitude. It's just something that you're gonna have to deal with, and it's with every company. Melton is not an exception, but it's with every company you're gonna go to. Just if you feel someone has an attitude towards you, you just keep a smile on your face and get done what you need to get done, and you're gonna be out of there. It's not like you have to have any kind of extended time there with them. Just get what you need to get done and then leave, and you won't have to deal with it. Number two is some of the driver's complexes. I guess this also goes with the attitudes of some of the staff. I guess it could go, but like we said, from personal experience, we've had a few drivers out here that basically they think that their safety, just because they've been here, and we're not putting down anybody that has been here and they're proud of that, because that's definitely an accomplishment, you know, to get Blue Knight status and get the million-miler trucks. But it's not an excuse to put other drivers down if you think that they're not doing it the way that you want it to be done. But that's just something to keep in mind. If you encounter somebody like that out here, take it with a grain of salt, because they're gonna do it to everybody. It's not something to deter you from coming to Melton. It is just something to keep in mind, and you will see that with every company.
Right. And like you said, we're not bashing any billion milers or anybody that's been here a long time, our nights and stuff like that. It's just the fact that with flatbedding, there's multiple correct ways to secure loads here. You know, as long as you follow the guidelines that Melton provides and do it the safe way, Melton really doesn't care how you do it, as long as it's legal and it's safe. Well, some of these guys, you know, they've been working alone so long that the only right way is their way. So when they see you securing across the parking lot, they want to come over to you and say, well, you know, this is wrong and stuff like that. It's not wrong.
If you want to take their advice, you know, go ahead and take their advice. If you feel that there's any, you know, any question about whether this is right or wrong, you need to call the safety department and the load securement team, because they're really the only ones that are gonna know. Just because somebody's been out here and they've done this load 12 million times and they've done it the same way 12 million times does not mean it's the only right way. So don't let them tell you you're wrong. If there's a doubt in your mind that you're wrong, call. Look in your little book that they give you, or call, because they're going to give you the correct information.
Right. And just elaborating on that, I don't want to ramble about it or anything like that, but when I first came to Melton, I met some of these guys that have been here a while, and I've been to some of these alcoves with these guys that have been doing this a long time, and it got to a point where I was telling Ivy, I don't feel like I belong here, because everything I did, there was a veteran driver coming to me and saying, well, this is wrong, this isn't how you do this. Well, one day I sat back and realized I've never lost a load, I've never had a load shift on me, I've never had a
DOT officer come and say this is wrong.
Right, I never had a flagrant violation is what they call it, and I've never been pulled over for securement. I've never been flagged by safety for securement. So I'm doing the things right, so I'm going to continue doing what I do. Now, I'm not saying you can learn from other drivers. I've learned a lot of things from veteran Melton drivers and other flatbedders. Flatbedding is one of the only trucking communities to me that seem to help. People are out here to help you. Another flatbedder. My very first load, I asked the guy next to me, who was an owner-operator of a different company, he owned his own truck, can he help me tarp? he took time out of his day to teach me how to tarp a load, even though, because I wasn't feeling confident when I came out of securement class. So everybody, there are people out here to help you, but there's also people with complexes. So that's one of the cons we were talking about. Just be aware of those people. Don't let them make you feel like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. And it's okay, like, don't feel some type of way about somebody offering to help. There are guys that want to help, like really want to help you, but there are some guys that just feel the need to say something, like fix something that's not broken.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. There are a million Melton drivers out here that are great, but the ones that are great, there's also some that are, you know, that just feel the need to say something to you.
They want to make their seniority known. They want to make you feel like the rookie.
Yeah.
You're not the rookie.
Everybody's a rookie at one point,
exactly.
But there's no need for them to make you feel that way.
Right. Don't let that happen.
Or make you feel like you're doing something wrong when really you're doing it right.
Exactly. Just use my guideline is just use common sense and do what your gut tells you. If you look at something and it looks like it needs a strap over it, go on and throw a strap over it.
Yeah. And like we said, any question, call load securement, because they're going to be the ones to know.
Right.
Alright, the next thing is the TransFlow app. This was a pro, but there is something on the TransFlow app that we don't do, and that is
you can't check your
hours. Yeah, you can't check your hours of service. Everything else on the TransFlow app is great. That's just the only thing that we wish it had. The next thing is a Laredo shop traffic. Like I said, there were 35 people in front of us.
37 people.
30-something people waiting. But they did get us in and get us out. They are fast. Those workers in there, they are fast, but they are efficient. So that's something to keep in mind. But the Laredo shop definitely has a lot of traffic coming in and out of there. So that's just something to keep in mind. The last thing is the Tulsa shop. Like we said, this is from personal experience. We just had major work done. The dash had to be tore out, and it took longer than we expected. We got there Monday night. They started working on the truck Tuesday morning, worked on it Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, and Thursday morning, or all day Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday it was finally done at 5 p.m. So we were able to get out of there. That's just something you're gonna have to deal with. It's not the mechanic's fault. It's just these trucks are gonna have to have maintenance done on them. Any company you go to, they're gonna have to have maintenance done on them. Every company we've been with, we've had to get maintenance done on the truck, whether it be at a terminal or a truck stop. So that is just something to keep in mind that just comes with the territory. It's just truck driving. That's what that is.
Right. And the con to the Tulsa shop is, just from personal experience, the communication is lacking.
Yeah.
I had to go back multiple times to get updates on the truck, and at one point, I didn't even know the mechanic that was working on my truck had left and went home. So when I went in there to get an update, he wasn't there, and you know, I can't really ask any other mechanic because they're not working on my truck.
Yeah.
So they don't know. And so so my truck basically had to go from one shop. It got fixed by the mechanic. Then it had to go to another shop to get fixed by another mechanic, just for a coolant leak and stuff like that, little minor stuff.
Yeah, different bays do different things on the truck.
Right, and what I'm getting at is that even the second mechanic, he did not call me and let me know the truck was done. The only reason I found out the truck was done is because I went back to go check on it, and he goes, "Hey, your truck is done." Yeah. But there are some mechanics there that, because the first time I was there, my truck was in the shop, another mechanic worked on my truck, and they called and let me know my truck was done. So the communication is there, but it slacks in some places.
Yeah.
And that just goes with the mechanic that has on the truck. And like, I'm not gonna drop names or nothing like that because I don't really know the guys like that. But just the communication could be a little better down there.
Yeah. But that's the only thing. The attitudes of the mechanics are great. And we've never ran into a mechanic that is rude or is lazy, really. I mean, none of them are lazy. They're there to do their job,
right.
You know, and they get it done. So
and every single mechanic I've talked to in Tulsa and Laredo, especially Laredo, when you tell them what's wrong with their truck, they really listen. You know, some mechanics, they treat it like, oh, you're just a driver, you don't know what you're talking about, you didn't go to school for this, stuff like that. These mechanics listen. They want to hear the problem and exactly what's wrong. And not only that, they want you to hang around a little bit with them because they want to see if the problem comes back or not.
Yeah.
You know, like when our AC went out, they were like, you know, hey, sit in it for a minute, see what happens, let me know.
Yeah.
I gave him the thumbs up, let him know it's all good, and he said, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
You know.
So those are definitely, that's definitely something to keep in mind whenever you go to the Tulsa terminal if you have something wrong with your truck. But honestly, those were definitely some nitpicky things. Not every company is perfect. There are going to be some cons with every company. Some companies are going to have more cons than others. But Melton definitely is A1. They're definitely our top company. That's why we're here. So if you guys have any more questions that we didn't cover in this video, just let us know.
Also, shoot us an email. Our email's in the description.
Yeah. So just let us know.
Yeah.
Bye.